Yeah, here we go again. Here we go again. Hey, yeah, no, see Camper Down. Entering Camper Down. It's been a bit of a walk. And as always, nothing but road behind, nothing but road ahead. The team is still on. We are 2 cities away, so it's Camper Down, then it's Pinetown, then it's Durban. So it's a Saturday today. We are walking to Durban on Monday from Pinetown. Tomorrow we'll be walking from Camper Down to Pinetown. So once again I'm reflecting, part of the project is about speaking out, about breaking the silence, and just talking about some of the social ills and some of the problems that we face as men, and that we have been taught to sinakhuluma ngazo because indoda ayikhali. Kodwa ke while I'm reflecting, I'm like, okay, let me just nami ngibhodle ke ngoba bathi indoda ayikhali ke shuthi sawubhodla ke, so that we can get things off our chest, So this one is about, and I'm thinking the M, for most people in society, the M in the word men stands for money, especially for women, and I think also society. I think the M in men stands for money, and I think in as much as women complain about being objectified, I think there's a reversal when it comes to men in terms of also being objectified, but not primarily for our physique, but for financial security, financial well-being, or just financial favors, or anything, just basically an ATM machine, I'm saying this because there are situations, obviously we are in a space where it's a fun nakdala, both men and women can work and earn salaries, and even some women earn more than men, and education is equal to all, you can have both female and male engineers, both female and male accountants, and so forth. So but it still hasn't changed that even in a society where we're asking for equality and equality of treatment, man is still defined primarily by his money, or the money that he offers. And unfortunately it also then transfers into parenting, where now as a man you're not a good father if you're not throwing money on the table, Now we know very well that life has ups and downs, and we also know that in South Africa, for black men in particular, there's a lot of economic disadvantage and economic exclusion, and that even though there are parts of our brothers that have been able to get proper education and infiltrate the corporate space, and others who've been able to find ways of making money through government structures, in general, the population, the larger population of men, the youth, and just men, middle-aged men, are actually economically excluded. This is why partly the crime rates are so high, because men are just trying to make money, and sometimes there's greed in it. In fact, often there's greed, but at the basis of it is maybe the need for survival and the need for recognition by society and by women, because for whatever reason society doesn't care how you make your money. All they care about is that it's there and it must be spent, and I've never heard abantu bathi angeke sidle imali yomuntu because he's a criminal. In fact, they say, money has no color, and and knows no race. So there's no such thing as immoral money, because it all buys the same according to people and according to society. And I think when it comes to moral issues, then it becomes personal moral issues, and depending on how they themselves earn their money, so then they will say, people in general will say, do what works for you. So the issue of money is a very gray area in terms of us as society, and the rules around money are not straightforward. So but anyway, the challenge then becomes when you are not interested in making your money in criminal ways, and you're trying to build something for yourself, for your family, and for society, and you have to navigate, as I said, this situation of economic inaccessibility as a black man, and you have to navigate all these structures. And now you are dealing also with a partner who then only appreciates you and speaks well of you, or even not even a partner, maybe even if you share a child with someone and you guys are broken up, and you're only appreciated once you bring in money. And and when you don't bring money, you're a terrible father. So you're a good father, you're irresponsible and absent and all sorts of things when you're so and I feel that is something that as society we need to start looking into, because we cannot live our lives based on money. A lot of relationships are messed up because of that. People will turn around and say very harsh things and very terrible things when you're broke, while you're building yourself, while you're making sure that there's a plan in place. And then imali masengenile ke manje sekuba buhlungu, because the things that were said do not go away. In fact, there's a very strong and real memory of how you were treated when you don't have money, and now you have to navigate that space with that consciousness of, this is how this person behaves. This person, and you're probably not given the respect that you deserved at the time, as just human respect, at the time of your building. There's no patience, and I mean, patience is one of those things that I feel as society for each other. We have to wait. We don't have instant gratification. I think the TV and the media and will tell us, no man, there's instant gratification, but there isn't. There's no such thing as instant gratification. Even if you are humble for savings, you have to wait. You have to apply for jobs. You have to look for jobs. You have to go through interviews. You have to wait until allocate, and then you might find that the salary doesn't actually meet your needs, and then you still have to wait for a promotion, and you still have to wait to be moved. So there's always waiting in the game. But for some reason, when it comes to men, our sisters do not have patience. As if they don't wait in their own affairs, in their own lives. As if they don't have to subject themselves also to natural laws that require all of us to wait when we, because there's a season to sow and there's a season to reap. When you're building, the house doesn't get built overnight. You build brick by brick. And also, I'm of the understanding, Gucci, we all know that we just came out of an international pandemic that has had ripple effects, where people have lost jobs, where people have lost incomes, where people's lives were turned around, and that in this space of rebuilding, there has to be a level of patience with each other. There has to be a level of cooperation and working together to say, okay, let me understand where you come from and what is it that you're trying to do, and let me understand, and you understand also where I'm coming from, and then let's find a midpoint, as opposed to just deciding which, someone is valueless, someone is whack, someone is irresponsible, just based on the fact of which I won't get any money, And things don't stay the same. Things change. We are evolving beings. We are moving. We meet new people. We attract new contracts. Things change, but there will always be a time where there's a void. And I think that time we need to be very patient with each other, and we need to learn how to be patient and how to handle pressure. I think a lot of us don't know how to handle pressure. And when we fail to handle pressure, then our tongues become sharp. And we're forgetting that everything we say gets recorded in the subconscious mind. And that thing will still resonate, and it will define the relationship going forward. And we will say, ngiyakhumbula ukuthi lo wangitreata kanjani, izinto zami mazimile. And sometimes it's a blessing that it happens, because then it shows you the real person that you're dealing with. Because when things are okay, when there's no pressure, everyone loves you, and you might think that you've got loyal and supportive people around you, until shit hits the fan, excuse my language, and then you realize, no man, actually I'm surrounded by people who pretend to understand, who pretend to be strong enough for you, who pretend to be supportive. Gantinabo themselves, when the pressure hits, then their true colors show, They can't handle pressure. Some people can't handle pressure. It gets too heavy for them, and they're not patient. And unfortunately, some of us had to learn to be patient even from a very young age, because growing up without my dad not supporting us, there wasn't someone who was taking care of our needs. Literally, for most of the time, we had to hustle and take care of our own needs. So we understood from a very early age, how to be entrepreneurial, how things work. I mean, I remember as a kid, one of the businesses I started was a thing, but it was seasonal. It was in winter. We would sell amadlavu, to kids as a crèche. And to get that competitive edge, you just brand those gloves and hats, so that for abazali, and that was like very early in my life. And then also other things, there was at some point where me and my friend Andile, this was like after matric though, started a business of delivering bread and milk. And in fact, we started with bread, and we were going to expand to milk and newspapers. But we ran it, and we were making money out of it, and we were using his mom's car, and would take orders and would deliver bread every day, every second day, depending on the order list. So my entrepreneurial spirit started at a very young age, and it wasn't. It was very much circumstantial. I was pushed to entrepreneurship because I had to hustle for everything that I needed. If I needed basketball sneakers, I had to hustle. If I needed school shoes, I had to hustle. So it literally, we learned to go together. Okay, everything needs effort and needs patience, and just knowing which is a tool, also figure out. You just need to build whatever you need to get there, And this has been the same attitude that I've carried even through COVID, and I never stopped. When, I started the podcast, we pushed 10 episodes. When the guys decided to drop me, it was okay, cool. We had already pushed about 10 really good episodes. And it was like, okay, cool, I've got proof of concept. So as soon as I get a sponsor, I'll get back to that. I went into art. I pushed in terms of schooling. I did classes. I sharpened up what I needed to do so that I can prepare myself to be in the professional space of art. I co-authored. I helped out with writing A Father, a Stranger, and I wrote a very typed out a long chapter. The former president Jacob Zuma, and also just jumped into the walk, and also preparing for a show. And so I'm one of those really hard working people, and I'm a builder. None of this stuff was really paying me, right? Very little of it was paying me, just here and there. But I knew coming out of COVID I need to have certain things that I've built that I'm going to build on when, the nation or the country becomes reactivated or the economy becomes reactivated. And this walk is also part of it. I'm out here saying, okay, cool, I'm building something. I'm doing something to give back, but I'm also doing something for my soul. This is a soul-searching walk. It's a cleansing session. There's thinking that I've been doing, and there's plans and ideas that when I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna move with the intensity. So I understand the role of patience, but at the same time, I also understand that there are people who would say, but, where's the money? Or but, and it's like, well, sometimes you have to put in the work first, and I understand. Most people think in terms of salary. You work X amount of days and then you get paid at the end of the month. It's secure, and that's what they want. They want security. Some of us, we don't want security. We've got different plans. We've got different dreams. We've got different ideas, and we know what we want and we know how to get it. And we will find security in doing those things and achieving those goals. So we need to build, and I'm not the only one. I think black men in South Africa need to become more entrepreneurial and more building orientated, so that we can build industries, so that we can build firms, so that we can get into manufacturing, so that we can own our own brands, so that we can become international brands, international influence, so that we can earn money in dollars, earn money in euros, be able to survive anywhere in the world, as some others have, and more coming. And within that journey, we all need to understand that when someone is in it and doing it wholeheartedly, and they're putting they've dedicated their lives to their purpose, there has to be patience. And if you don't want to be patient, then just do your own thing, But let's not now define men as money. Let's not define men as money. Men are bigger than money. Men are legacy. Men are purpose. Men are changes. Men are game changers, life changes. Men are societal changes. Men are movers of mountain. And when men are combined, they do absolutely amazing things. So let's be supportive of our men. Let's support each other as brothers too, so that we make the journey as short as possible. When you work within a brotherhood, you're able to solve these problems for each other as men. We're able to encourage each other. We're able to carry each other whenever we need to,